Michael Reed's always thought he had it all figured out. A house with a white picket fence, a six-figure job, a beautiful wife who greeted him at the door, and a golden retriever named Max, who wagged his tail like clockwork at 6 p.m. But what Michael didn't realize, or maybe refused to admit, was that life isn't measured by corner offices or polished shoes. Sometimes, it's what happens inside your home that defines everything. And this story, it begins not with a loud crash, but with the soft clink of a coffee mug, and a woman trying not to cry. Anna sat at the kitchen island, slowly stirring her tea. She wasn't crying, but you could feel it like thunder behind clear skies. She wore his favorite navy robe, the one he bought her for their second anniversary. Funny how he hadn't noticed it in weeks. Anna softly, "Do you want breakfast?" Michael, rushing, "Gotta run. Big presentation today." He didn't kiss her goodbye. He hadn't in 2 weeks, maybe longer. She stared at the empty doorway long after he'd gone. Her tea went cold, and Max, the dog, laid his head on her lap. Even he sensed something was off. At work. Michael was a different man, confident, joking, sharper than ever, and next to him, like a shadow dressed in stilettos, was Lena. His secretary. 20-6, red lipstick that never smudged, always a little too close, always laughing a little too loud at his jokes. Lena laughing. "Oh, Michael, you're terrible." He wasn't. He was predictable, and slowly, without even realizing, replaceable. 3 years ago, Michael proposed to Anna in their tiny apartment over takeout noodles, no ring box, just a folded napkin. He didn't have much, but his eyes were sincere. "Michael, then, no, I'm not perfect, but with you, I feel like I could be. Laughing through tears. "Then let's be imperfect together." They didn't need fancy things back then. Just each other. So what changed? That night, he came home late again. No apology, no explanation. Anna tired. "You missed dinner." Michael shrugging. "Work ran late. Big project." He didn't see the plate she'd kept warm, the candles she'd lit, the way she'd redone her hair. "Anna, Lena called earlier, said you left your phone charger." Silence. A long, stretching silence. Michael, she was just being helpful. "Anna, she knows our landline." Michael, "Don't be paranoid." The next day, Anna met her best friend, Claire. "Claire, you need to confront him." "Anna, he says I'm imagining it." "Claire, you're not. He's drifting." "Anna, and you're just waiting." Anna didn't respond. She just stirred her tea again, like it might dissolve the ache in her chest. Lena, you know, if I were your wife, I'd never let you go." And in that dim office glow, Michael smiled. Not because he was happy, but because he was drunk on attention. "Anna, quiet. Are you cheating on me?" Michael defensive. "What? No. You're being crazy, Anna." "Anna, she wears your cologne now. She laughs like I used to. And you look at her like you forgot I exist." Michael, "I'm just tired of being interrogated." Anna, "I'm tired of being invisible." That was the night she stopped waiting. Anna didn't pack with fury. She packed with silence, neatly folding memories into a suitcase. She left the photo album. She left his favorite mug. She left Max, knowing he loved Michael more. She left her ring on the nightstand, and a note. "The day you moved your secretary into my space, even emotionally, was the day I moved out of your life." Michael yawned, stretched, called out her name. Nothing. He checked the bathroom, the kitchen, the backyard. Max whimpered, by the door. And only then did Michael notice what was missing. Michael calling. "Claire, have you seen Anna?" "She's not here. Her stuff is gone." "What happened?" Claire coldly. "She left the day you moved your secretary in." And that's when Michael broke. Not just his voice, not just his ego. Michael stood in the kitchen, staring at the ring she left behind. It sat on the counter like a silent accusation. The air felt heavier, colder. He opened the fridge. The strawberry yogurt was gone. So was the almond milk. She took everything that was hers, except the guilt. Max sat by the door again, waiting for a woman who would never return home without an invitation. When Michael walked into work that morning, Lena met him with a smirk. "Lena, you look like hell." Michael flat. "She left me." Lena light laugh. "Well, guess you're free now." He didn't respond. Suddenly Lena's perfume didn't smell exciting. It was suffocating. Her voice, once flirtatious, now sounded hollow, and her smirk, it looked like a warning he'd been too blind to read. Days turned to nights. The house echoed with emptiness. Leftovers went bad. Max stopped eating, and Michael, he spent hours replaying arguments in his head, trying to find where exactly she gave up and why he didn't notice. He called Claire again, twice, voicemail. He checked Anna's socials, gone, vanished, not blocked, not active, just disappeared, like she'd never existed. But the dent in her pillows said otherwise. A memory came rushing back, a barefoot ceremony on a beach, Anna's hair dancing in the wind, him stuttering over his vows. Michael flashback, I promise. Even when I mess up, I'll come back to us. But some promises drown in ego before they even learn how to swim. A week after Anna left, Lena brought over a suitcase. Not clothes. Expectations. Lena, placing lipstick on bathroom shelf. I mean, I practically live here anyway. Michael yeah, I guess. She put her perfume where Anna's used to be, her heels under Anna's side of the bed, and her chaos right where love used to live. Lena, you know, if I'm going to be here full time, maybe we should redo the kitchen. The color's kinda dead. Michael dry. Anna chose it. Lena, well, there's your problem, narrator. She laughed. Michael didn't. He missed overcooked pasta and candlelight more than he missed the sound of flirty praise. At work, Michael was no longer sharp. Missed deadlines, wrong figures, confused meetings. His boss pulled him aside. Boss, you okay, Reeds? You look distracted. Michael mechanical. Just tired. I'll catch up. But even he knew, the more you fall behind in life, the faster it moves without you. One rainy afternoon, the doorbell rang. It was Claire, holding a bag of Anna's books. Claire cold. She asked me to drop these. She doesn't want you to have to see her. Michael, she hates me, doesn't she? Claire, she loved you enough to leave. Michael, I didn't sleep with Lena. I just liked the attention. Claire cutting. You replaced loyalty with novelty. And now you're surprised the foundation cracked. She left before he could answer. He sat in the dark for hours. No music, no TV, no Lena, just silence and regret. Michael, voiceover. She waited. God, she waited so long. I told her to be patient, to understand, but I never once tried to understand her. Some men only understand value when they've lost it. And Michael, he was finally learning the price of neglect. It wasn't the empty bed or the untouched dinners. It was the note. He read it again. The day you moved your secretary into my space, even emotionally, was the day I moved out of your life. He hadn't just let someone else in. He invited her in. And in doing so, he locked Anna out. Michael, you should go. Lena shocked. Excuse me. Michael, this was a mistake. All of it. Lena mocking. So what? You think she'd take you back just because you kicked me out? Michael, no, but I'll never have a shot if I keep pretending this meant anything. He didn't yell, he didn't beg, he just let go. The house felt emptier after Lena left, but somehow lighter. Michael started therapy. He called his mom for the first time in months. He found Anna's favorite charity and made a donation in her name. He even cooked dinner for one and got it all wrong, but he smiled anyway. Michael to Max. She used to add garlic at the end. That's why mine tastes like cardboard. Then came the letter. Not a text, not a call. A letter written in his own hand, with his own guilt. Michael writing, I never cheated, but I betrayed you. And I see that now. You deserved more than a man who needed to lose you to love you properly. He folded it, placed it in an envelope, and handed it to Claire. Days passed. Then a week. No reply. No call. But for the first time in months, Michael didn't check the door every morning. He didn't need to chase her. He just needed to become someone worth being chased. Claire stood outside Anna's small rented apartment, holding a plain white envelope. No perfume, no decoration, just his handwriting, shaky but honest. Anna opened the door, looking calmer than Claire expected, like someone who'd spent weeks rebuilding the broken parts of herself. Claire, it's from him. Quietly. I figured. She didn't ask questions. She didn't rip it open like in the movies. She just held it as if the weight of his words had to settle before she let them in. Later that evening, Anna sat by the window. The city lights blinked outside. The room was dim, just like her heart had been. She unfolded the letter. MichaelVoiceover.com. Regretful. Anna, I don't deserve your time, and I probably never will. But I'm writing. Claire stood outside Anna's small rented apartment, holding a plain white envelope. No perfume, no decoration, just his handwriting, shaky but honest. Anna opened the door, looking calmer than Claire expected, like someone who'd spent weeks rebuilding the broken parts of herself. Claire, it's from him. Quietly. I figured. She didn't ask questions. She didn't rip it open like in the movies. She just held it as if the weight of his words had to settle before she let them in. Later that evening, Anna sat by the window. The city lights blinked outside. The room was dim, just like her heart had been. She unfolded the letter. Michael voiceover.com. Regretful. Anna, I don't deserve your time, and I probably never will. But I'm writing this because silence feels more cowardly than the truth. I didn't cheat on you, but I cheated us. I let attention distract me from loyalty. I confused flirtation for validation. And I lost the only person who ever saw me, really saw me. You waited for me to grow up, and I punished you for your patience. I don't expect forgiveness. I just hope you remember that even if I was a bad husband, I was never indifferent. I loved you. I just didn't love you the way you needed. I'm working on becoming that man now. Yours, Michael. Tears fell, not all at once, slowly, as if each line of his letter tugged at a different scar. She pressed her fingers to her lips and closed her eyes. Anna whispering, "Took you long enough." While Michael had spiraled after the separation, Anna had rebuilt. She'd joined a support group, gotten a part-time job teaching art to kids, started therapy twice a week, and every morning, she reminded herself, you didn't leave because you stopped loving him. You left because he stopped loving you back. But the letter cracked the wall she'd built. Not to let him in, but to let hope breathe again. Anna, he didn't ask for me back. That's new. Claire, maybe he's learning. Anna, he says he never stopped loving me, but I don't know if I can ever trust that love again. Claire, you don't have to. Not yet. You're allowed to forgive without forgetting. Anna nodded. Forgiveness. Maybe. Reconciliation. That would take more than a letter. Michael wasn't the same man anymore. He still woke up alone. But instead of drowning in guilt, he wrote in a journal. Instead of blaming Anna for leaving, he thanked her silently for saving them both from something worse, resentment. He even started volunteering at Max's animal shelter on weekends, not for redemption, just for something real. 1 month after the letter, his phone rang. Her name, just her name. He stared at the screen, hands shaking, mouth dry. He answered, Michael, softly. Hello, Anna. I read your letter. Michael. Didn't expect. Anna interrupting. I'm not calling to come back. I just wanted you to know it mattered. Those 7 words did more for his healing than therapy ever could. 2 weeks later, they met for coffee. Not as lovers, not even as friends, just 2 people who shared a history, trying not to repeat it. Michael, you look good. Anna smiling, politely, you look different. Michael half laughing, less of an idiot maybe. Narrator. They talked about work, about Max, about the books she was reading, and they didn't mention Lena, not once, because this wasn't about blame anymore. It was about what came next. Over the next few weeks, they met a few more times, always in public, always, casually, always, with boundaries. But each conversation pulled a little more warmth from the coldness they'd built. One night, as he walked her to her door, Max ran ahead and pawed at her doormat, just like he used to. Anna laughing. He never forgot me, Michael, neither did I. It took him a month to ask it. Not, will you come back? Not, do you still love me? Just Michael, can we start as strangers who once had something beautiful? A pause. That depends. 6 months had passed since the letter, since the breakdown, since the painful truth shattered them. And now, Michael and Anna were different. Not fixed, but growing. They weren't a couple yet, not officially, but the world, no longer, felt like it was falling apart. They had weekly dinners, shared playlists. Max went between houses like a joint custody child, tail wagging like a diplomat of love. Therapist. What do you want from her now? Michael. Nothing. Therapist raised brow. Nothing. Michael, I mean, not in the way I used to. I don't want to win her back like a prize. I just want to show up better every day, whether she chooses me again or not. For the first time, it wasn't about getting her back. It was about becoming the man who would have never lost her in the first place. Anna, meanwhile, had changed to dots. She no longer cried in the shower, no longer apologized for her feelings. She started an online art store, painted late into the night, and finally bought herself the earrings she'd once hinted at for their anniversary and never got. Anna to herself, smiling, I don't need a man to buy my joy. Buff love, that was still on the table, only this time it had to be served with respect. It was a Thursday. Rain fell gently, and Anna stood outside the coffee shop where they first started meeting again. Michael arrived late, stuck in traffic, and soaking wet. He looked ridiculous, hair flattened, shirt clinging, holding 2 lattes in a cookie bag that was now soggy. Michael laughing, I ruined the cookie. Anna laughing, it's the thought that's moist. They both burst out laughing. Narrator, that's when she realized something. She wasn't afraid of loving him anymore, because now he didn't demand space in her life. He earned it. Outside the coffee shop, under the awning, she hugged him, not the polite, brief kind, the I remember your heartbeat kind, and he held her like she was porcelain, not out of fear, but with reverence. Anna, I've missed this, Michael whispers. So have I. She came over, just once. At first, to see Max, to pick up some old books. The house had changed. No Lena, no traces of that chapter. There were new things, framed quotes, a vase of sunflowers, a photo of Max, but also her favorite mug, still there, waiting. Anna surprised. You kept this, Michael. Some things don't need replacing. He made dinner, poorly. Overcooked pasta, too much garlic, and burned garlic bread. Michael embarrassed. I swear I followed the recipe. Anna smiling. You did, but you forgot the part where you asked me for help. She stepped in, took over the pan, and together they cooked something simple but perfect. A metaphor in every bite. They walked Max after dinner, just like old times. Michael stopped near the old park bench they once carved their initials into. He didn't kneel, didn't pull out a ring, just reached for her hand. Michael, I know we're not there yet, but if we ever find ourselves at the same place, the same heartbeat, Anna finishing, you'd want to try again. Michael, I'd want to marry you again, not because I miss what we had, but because I want what we could still build. She didn't say yes, didn't say no. She just smiled and leaned her head on his shoulder. Sometimes, love isn't declared, it's shown, and in that moment, everything broken between them started to grow again. A year passed, they remarried, quietly, no fanfare, just family, friends, and Max with a Bodhi. Their vows were different this time. Michael, at Alta, I promised to never let attention distract me from love, and I promised to listen, even when it's uncomfortable. Anna, I promised to speak my truth, and never shrink again. Not for anyone. They kissed, not like the first time. This kiss was slower, wiser, earned. Some love stories don't end because people fall out of love. They end because people stop showing it. But sometimes, if both hearts are willing, the ending can become a beautiful new beginning. It was a Sunday morning. Sunlight filtered through the windows of their new home, not the old house. They sold that one together, choosing instead to build a life where nothing was haunted. The new house wasn't bigger. It was warmer. Anna stood in the kitchen, wearing one of his old shirts. Michael flipped pancakes badly, but she didn't stop him. Max snoozed under the table, older now but content. Anna, teasing their burning. Michael grinning. No, they're toasted with character. Life rarely gives second chances, and when it does, it doesn't come in a wrapped box. It comes in pain, in letters, in quiet dinners, in walking the dog until you remember how to talk again. There were flashbacks, not the ones with shouting or betrayal, but the ones filled with subtle love. Her hand on his knee during hard days, his coat on her shoulders in the rain, the way they once said I love you without needing to say it at all. They had lost those moments, and then they chose to create new ones. There was one thing Anna kept in her nightstand, the original letter, the one that made her cry, not out of pain anymore, but to remind her, growth is real, people can change, and love, when paired with accountability, can rise from the ashes. Anna reading, I betrayed us, not with my body, but with my absence. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'll spend my life becoming someone who does. She folded it carefully, kissed the corner, and placed it back in the drawer. Michael had joined a men's support group months earlier, just 5 guys in a community hall. talking about their worst days. One day, it was his turn to share. Michael gentle. I used to think being a man meant winning, promotions, power, control, but the truth is, the most masculine thing I ever did was admit I broke the woman I loved, and then work every day to become a version of myself that could make her feel safe again. The room went silent, not because they didn't understand, but because every single man in that room did. One quiet afternoon, Anna pulled out a small box from the back of the closet. Inside was a baby blanket, soft yellow, unused. They had bought it years ago, back when the dream was closer than the reality. Now, things were different. They were stronger, calmer, and when she handed him the box without saying a word, he just stared. Michael, eyes wide. Are you? She nodded. Tears welled. They weren't of fear, they were of arrival. That night, Michael held her in bed. The world was still, and the room hummed with a silence that had nothing to do with discomfort. Michael whispers, I'm sorry, for everything, for who I was. Anna smiling. I'm proud of who you are now. That's what matters. They didn't need to revisit every scar, they were busy building skin over them. Months later, Michael sat at the desk, in front of him. A new letter, but this one wasn't for Anna, it was for his son. Michael voiceover. Dear Noah, someday you'll make mistakes, maybe big ones, and you might think your worst moments define you, but they don't. It's what you do after that counts. Your mother is the strongest woman I know, and I hope you grow up to treat love not like a prize, but a responsibility. You ever feel lost? Just look at us. We were broken, now we're whole, and you're the proof we made it. This story wasn't about a perfect man. It wasn't even about a perfect couple. It was about redemption, about consequences, about the space between breaking and rebuilding. He didn't get her back overnight. He didn't get a clean slate, but he got something better. A second chance earned, and she got the man she always believed was hidden under the one she left. Because sometimes love doesn't win the first time, but when it's real, it fights its way back.